Hello, today we'll be learning about S2 streaming. It's a new technology which has been in preview for some time. I think I got access to it yesterday, and this is part of a initiative they have created. Um, this can be referenced by visiting this quick start document. The whole idea in a nutshell is to have a unbounded limitless data store very similar to S3, but not in the ideology of blob store, but more comparing it to the ideology of streams, where they have connected very similarly, where you have your data blobs and your data blob exists in a bucket. Similarly, in this new paradigm in S2, your data resides in streams, and streams are part of an overall basin which kind of relates to a namespace concept. Now, thinking about this, the whole idea is not to depend on the idea of compute, where whenever you're scaling your data or your the streaming concept like topic and the relevant data streams, you also need the compute to manage it in terms of the cluster technology. This is where S2 differentiates itself by separating out the storage in S3, which is the cloud technology it is relying upon, but eventually separating out the processing from the data so that it could be limitless. And this is where the idea of serverless comes into the aspect of streaming paradigm. So today we will explore it out, and anyone who wants to give it a try can go to this link page and just avail it for sign up. They have availed it for a limited time for trial period, and hopefully you won't be using it too much for production data. But there's a quick prototype. They are trying to explore it out and see and get some feedback out of it. So all the instructions have been shared here in my GitHub repo here, and we'll just be exploring them out and see, and with our eyes here in terms of exploring it out. Okay, so this is a terminal which I've got here, and we'll follow the instructions. The basic thing which they want us to have is to have to get started with installing S2, kind of the command line interface for it. This is where we'll be starting, and all the instructions are pretty straightforward. You can install it first by using Homebrew, or also use it through Cargo and Rust. We'll just start simply by using Homebrew. Installing it first as a Linux server, so it wouldn't be available by default, but you could still go ahead and install it in if you have Mac OS. And just be wary if your username is different from what I have. Just change those parameters while you're exploring it out. In my case, the user is Ubuntu, so that's why there are a few differences here. Others, we are just activating Homebrew in our current shell so that it's available, and here you go, we're ready with it. Now the parameters we install S2. The command is a bit strange to me. It could be a single S2 would make more sense, but I think they have some namespace and challenges there. Once this is done, we need a token because now they have exposed it through a API service internally. So this is where you visit the dashboard area and create a token for yourself. I'll create one here for myself, uh, and once you do that, you can copy it from here, and we need to set it here for our experimentation. And it's all set here. After which, before we experiment with anything, we'll need to create a basin. Basin is which stores all your streams together, like an namespace concept. Okay, since I had already created one with a similar name, that's why it's running the exception. I'll just rename it to basin 1 and then create it. Okay, now the basin is created. The next step is we can list it out to see if it has been created. Okay, you see my previous basins too. Now we'll try to create a stream which will hold our data. Okay, perfect. Then once this is done, anyone can append a write to the stream. So we'll do that at a later step. The very first step is we'll add it here so as we can read it when we're ready. And this is where we're trying to read from this stream and this basin, and so as of now there is no append here. That's why it doesn't see anything here. I'll need to create another kind of a terminal which we can append then from there, and I'll just show it to you in a brief instance. Okay, now you should be able to see my second terminal here where we will run the command. Now we had named it in our previous, but I think so that we get a context of this name, we will export it here. Perfect. Now we will try to read some of the text out. It's a very interesting kind of text which gets outputted and appended through a pipe character. I'll just let it different here with side by side so that you can this is strange since I have an S2 here. Just thinking very quickly. Okay. Okay, I think this did take into effect. Now that work as expected. Let me try this again. Okay. Now let's see if this works. Okay, perfect. Now you see it's trying to append here on the left terminal and it's seeing the output on the right. And this is all happening without having a very infrastructure heavy, like having something like Kafka to manage this, and all of this is managed behind in cloud storage in S3, but being abstracted in the ST paradigm, which creates an unbounded, limitless, eventually cost bound into a very helpful layer. Now the other thing is we can also experiment with seeing kind of what are the latency. So for that we'll create another stream just for our testing here. Just for the sake of this experiment, I'll just try to close it out so that now once I close, you won't see any output here. Very interesting. And this is what I'm trying to do here. I'll ping here, and it's basically trying to create a stream called ping, and the storage layer is express, and the other one is standard. So here, if you see S2 ping S2, and we're just trying to ping it. And this kind of it's a very neat way to see the latency. It's very less than 500 milliseconds, and they're on a median level and a percentile 99 level. If you see, it's they are negating good SLA. Not, I think they are still yet to have it, but it's less than 500. So this was a very quick, demo on what has been built. Now if we go about and see through the very quick documentation, and not only from command line, but you can also expose it through and use it using the Rust SDK which they created, and it opened with Python, Java, and GoTo with REST API and gRPC API too. In the documentation, you can also learn about the architecture. It's a very interesting read in terms of the whole idea about having the serverless kind of file based storage instead of very similar to the days when you're using Hadoop, but it was kind of your compute and data was storage was coupled, but here it's kind of decoupling both these layers, letting you manage the costs independently. This is where one of the very interesting patterns, and very similar I think have been created by other similar technologies. I think a, I wouldn't remember it out of my bag, but I'll share it also in the description as similar services. But let's see how this explores out, and something very neat enough to try. And I also hope there's something open source very similar to this. Um, I hope this session was helpful to all of you, and yeah, thank you.